What is optimal impact and what does it look like? Why do pro speed hitting students swing so much faster than their counterparts? As you can see, this player up on the screen right now, one of my online students, is swinging almost 10 miles an hour faster than the top level Division One players, and he's just now graduating high school. How is that possible that he's swinging almost 10 miles an hour faster than some of the best players in the country? Well, the answer is simple, is we understand how to release the bat and we understand what optimal impact is. We understand where the end goal is. So you can also see these MLB players that we're throwing up on the screen. So you can see that it's not just that we have some special formulas, that we understand how to execute the mechanics in a way that allows us to optimize our speed. If we understand where optimal impact is and why we want to get there, then it becomes much more clear. Now, optimal impact, and I'm sure most would agree, is when this bat is moving at its fastest speed. For example, if for round numbers, if I'm swinging around, if my fastest speed is 100 miles per hour, my optimal impact would be when this bat is moving 100 miles per hour. Well, the fastest moving point of the swing is when the lead arm and the bat are lined up at impact. So the fastest part of any swing is when the lead two levers line up. That's what we have to make sure we understand. If we understand that that is the fastest moving point of the swing, we know that's going to be where optimal impact is. Now, I understand there's swings out there that don't look like this all the time, but as you can see in the big league swings we're playing on the screen, there are plenty of times when players do reach optimal impact. Hitting is not perfect. You know, sometimes we have to bend the elbows, sometimes we have to pull the hands in, sometimes we have to reach for a ball. There's all kinds of things that happen, but those are just being a hitter. We always need to practice off of where our optimal is. If I know I'm going to be optimized here and I get jammed on the pitch in the game and I have to pull my hands in and get the barrel on it and be a hitter, that's another thing. That's just understanding how to hit. That's from practice. But we need to practice optimal mechanics as often as possible. So the secret's not very secret. It is we understand that the lead arm of the bat lining up at impact is the fastest moving point of the swing. That's where we want to hit the ball. The number one thing that you need to do when you're practicing, especially on the tee, is give yourself enough room to do this. Most players, this is the number one mistake I see, and I see this at the big league level, where players will jam themselves on the tee. We get on a tee and they want to get really, really close to it. That's not where we want to hit the ball. This is severely jamming my ability to get to my optimal impact point. So it's going to be very simple. Get into your setup. Make sure that your ball is going to be set up somewhere around where your lead arm and your bat can line up at impact, so that you can now start practicing lining those two up. So if I understand that when the lead arm and the bat line up, I can start practicing my swing timing by lining those up. This is also how we time pitches. We time pitches by lining them up. If the pitcher's throwing 100 or 70 miles per hour, I'm lining up my lead arm and my bat at impact as close to it as I possibly can. And that's where we're going to be able to optimize our ability. This is where you see great hitters where it looks like they're barely swinging, but they're hitting the ball out of the park, is because they're hitting it at the fastest moving point of their swing. And you see other players that are swinging super, super hard and they're hitting it nowhere. It's because they're hitting it way behind the fastest moving point of their swing. So I see a lot of impact positions where we're really spun out, and you can see how much angle there is here. There's all this room that we didn't get our speed when all that speed could have happened at the ball. So let me show you again what that looks like from the down the line view. Number one thing, making sure that we have enough space, and then understanding that the lead arm and the bat line up at impact. Now there we go. So all I tried to do there was make sure I give myself enough space and line my lead arm and my bat up at impact. Now, this does take a little bit more work than I'm probably making it look. This is something that's very ingrained in my own swing. So it's very important to make sure that you start getting the right sensations for getting your lead arm and your bat lined up, understanding that is the optimal way to hit the ball so that you can start training it. Well, I've got a great bonus for you. I'm going to show you one of our best lessons to immediately start getting the sensation of the release, called the 2T drill. And I'm going to play a preview of that at the end of this video. You can see that entire lesson by clicking on the iCard that pops up in the preview. If you don't see that iCard, that's fine. You can click on the link that's immediately in the description below. And if you execute the parameters in that drill and you set it up properly, you will immediately start getting the sensation you need to start releasing the bat, just like the top players do, and just how the fastest swingers on the planet get the bat to the ball. We'll see you here in the 2T drill. The number one commonality among elite level hitters, the top of the top hitters, is they're getting maximum speed in the ball. They're getting that vicious release, and the bat is staying in the zone for the longest period of time. So not only are they getting that vicious speed the release gives you, they're also maximizing their room for air, So they become an absolute elite level hitter because there's so much room for air and the bat's moving at a high velocity. I'm going to show you a drill that's going to have you release the bat immediately. This cuts to the chase. This is my number one drill for learning the release because give you immediate feedback as to whether or not the bat is being released or not. If you can hit both tees and do those three things, you will have an elite level release, or at least